So we have all these pictures we threw up, all these nice canvases of all different stages of production when we were going through build outs. This is the original veg room build out, flower room.
Going down memory lane right
Seriously,
here. Huh?
oh my God, bro. You
Remember all the trials and tribulations of
trials.
every little freaking
We used
build
to
up?
sleep here at night going through, you know, the night before we were licensed by the DBR, me and Adolfo were here till 3:30 in the morning. The pull station from one of the fire alarm goes off, the sensor's broken. Me and him are running around the building with weapons on our hands. I think someone's breaking in. I go to the fire alarm code box. I'm like, I don't know, the pull station. Somebody must have pulled the pull station.
With weapons and all
Yeah,
hands.
we were like ready to go.
Some axes and swords.
Those are like the magazine covers of when Kenny performed well at the High Times Cup. So I think Michigan, California, and then he was rated top 10 strongest strain that was tested that year at any High Times Cup event.
What strain was that?
Peak the Purple Chem.
Nice. Suited and booted. About to get the tour. Rhode Island's finest gardens. Let's do it.
This is a clean water RO system designed in-house. We purchased the manifold from a company, but all the plumbing and piping comes in here, stored here, redirected to any which way. So we have feeding tanks that are spread out around the building based on, you know, where they're getting fed to. So we have a flower room on this side, we have a veg room on this side. We also have 2 flower rooms on that side with another veg room all the way down the end.
Beautiful. What strains you rocking in here?
So this room, if I had to guess, most likely has banana cream, cake, berries, peanut butter chocolate. We've been running the P-Chem. I would have to guess that left row, because it's short and fat, that's probably all P-Chem, that whole row.
Yeah.
If not, he likes to rock that trunk funk that grows the same.
Now this room's in flower.
Yep, this is probably 2
Week
weeks
2,
in.
yeah.
Week 2 in.
Are they all equal stretch per row, or is it probably something like that?
Strain dependent. Like P-Chem literally will stay short and fat like that the entire time. The cake will stretch, the berries will stretch. Well, not the berries, not so much, because it's that P-Chem. It's got P-Chem in it, so it's not really a big stretcher. But cake most definitely will. The banana, not really so much. The cake's really the one you have to watch out for in our stable of genetics that really like to stretch out. That's definitely P-Chem, because as you can tell, we run P-Chem under HPS only. We don't do
I was just going to ask about that.
Yeah.
The mixed spectrum in 2 of the rows.
Yeah, and we
HPS
just like to run just straight HPS with that P-Chem. Yeah, so one of our partners, he does irrigation. He did all the plumbing, all the all the direct feeding system. He hooked up the tank system, the pumps. It's nice to have experience with the grow and then experience with the construction end, because if you can put them both together, it's much more, it's much easier to get it done. So like, you may hire contractors that know how to do HVAC, but do they know how to apply what they know to a facility like this? Because that's very different applications. You're talking about RTUs, rooftop units that are gonna run most likely 20 hours
Non-stop
a day,
almost.
non-stop almost.
Every day.
And, you want to be able to make sure that they know the application it's being used for.
Do you have to put anything in that water to?
No, so that's the cool part about using Mammoth P is, Erica will tell you that intake of phosphate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that helps us not have that amount in the runoff.
Yep.
So it's like,
Big up some Mammoth
Yeah.
P and Erica there. That's what's up.
All right, so maybe we'll just take a quick peek, see what the guys are doing in here. Guys are de-leafing, yeah, as you can see. This is flower room 1. So they're basically identical. Flower room 1, flower room 2 are about the same size. There's 3 lights different. So this room has 42 lights, that room has 39 lights. We like to keep both rooms like staggered with variety of strains. So if one room's got, a whole row of P-Chem, you won't find any P-Chem in here. We'll try to throw like different things out here. This is the one and only Billy Idol. Yeah, she's a beauty.
I had a dab at that.
Oh my God, it's out of control.
It's like rocket fuel. Really racy.
It really is.
Vroom.
It's that white, it's got that white in it. She's a one of a kind. Very lucky to find the right genetic. So right here is like the main workstation area. He's got all the security cameras in front of him. He's got all the cameras to know what's going on. He basically can control all the feeding system programs from here, from his phone, from his iPad. These are the 3 feeding tanks that were that distribute towards FL1, FL2, and then this bedroom that's behind this wall right here. Smoking flower rosin around others may lower their opinion of you. He's got, well, no, I think he's at least got a minimum of 2 of every mom's.
How many guys you got working up in here these days?
Oh my God, there's 4 guys in the grow team, and then there's Adolfo and myself, and then there is at least 10 people in the trim room. So you're looking at like 16 to 17 people here.
Doing
every
your
day.
part to kick up Rhode
Yeah.
Island's
Yeah.
economic.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some recreational stuff passed.
Something's got to change.
Bring some more employment to the state, some tax revenues.
Oh, that's the
Some
thing.
much needed
Unrealized
tax
tax revenue
revenues.
is huge.
These are some new seeds.
Yeah, some new stuff we bought.
Oh, you're growing. You must be making a ton of money.
No,
This thing takes a lot of
no,
money
we
to
got
feed this beast.
We got in the game because we were already helping patients. We were already caregivers and patients, already selling excess to the dispensary. So when the emergency regulations went in to add this new cultivation license, we wanted in not because of the money. We wanted in because A, we didn't have to look over our shoulder anymore, and B, we wanted to continue helping the patients we were helping out before.
Yep.
And yeah, don't get me wrong, you think to yourself, all right, you're creating a business, you should be able to make a few dollars and make a living and feed
Yep.
your family off something like this, right? So, you know, we built this place the way that we wanted to. So this should be cake, right? What is this? No, this is peanut butter chocolate. It looks like that cake though, it's got that perk to it.
Peanut butter chocolate?
Yeah, the peanut butter chocolate's serious. More peanut butter chocolate. This is cake.
So is your garden team stripped the plant to this point?
Exactly. So
Then it comes in here and then they're going to the trim?
Exactly, as less invasive as possible. So what we do is we harvest, cut it, hang it, dry it, don't touch it for like 3 weeks.
Yep.
Then they'll come in. Sometimes we have to make room for the next harvest to come in here. We would rather not have to touch them and then bin them and then touch them again.
Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes we come in, we cut them down, break them down, we bin it, get it ready so that way we can empty this room out for the next harvest.
That's what's up, some gas.
Yeah,
That's some yummy
yeah,
right
that's
there.
all, yeah.
3 weeks upside down.
That's it.
This is the cold cure, basically.
That's it.
You got great air movement I can feel in here.
Yep.
Very proper drying room.
And when this room
Temperature
gets
nice,
emptied,
too.
it gets clean top to bottom.
Yeah,
All
every time.
mechanical unit, every time.
You guys working direct? Do you work with any grocery stores locally? All your nutrients?
Certain
guys
things,
got a good
yes,
brand,
and
so you
certain
probably
things,
get
no.
some,
We
yeah.
like to support everybody, so we do buy some stuff direct. You know, packaging from Future Roller because we're using their machines. That works
Future Roller.
best.
These guys
So,
got great pre-rolls. Everybody's got to have to check
Thank
those
you.
out. If you
Thank
don't know about that pre-rolls, not every pre-roll is created equal. It was burned very nice and the
Thank you.
flour is always on point.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we do a lot of pre-roll volume every month. I mean, we have 3 dedicated employees, maybe sometimes 4 or 5, depending on how big the order is.
So you guys can use your own packaging now at some
Correct.
some compassion centers, right?
Yes.
All of them or
All
some of
the
them?
pre-rolls are basically all handled the same. We're tubing them in the child-proof tube, we're tamper sealing them, then we're bagging them with all the new required labeling on the bags also. This is our trim room, our packaging room, our processing room. So you can see the team there, they'll sit there, they'll start breaking down, binning it. All the colas get binned, all the lowers get used for pre-rolls.
Do you have like a post-harvest manager that like controls
We do.
that room into here? You tell
Yes.
them what to do, they know what to
Exactly.
do, break it down?
Exactly. Actually, we have 2 guys who are really good in this room. Who they'll have the orders ready. They'll put the flour order together. So we're lucky we have a great team here. Everybody gets along. So as you can tell, we don't use trim for pre-rolls. We never have, we never will. So what we do is...
That's why they're so good.
That's why they're so good. The Future Roller also makes a grinder that is like phenomenal. This grinder, literally 7 seconds, 8 seconds, whips it perfectly. The consistency's there. I mean, we still go through the
These
material.
little things break it up nice.
Yeah, like phenomenal.
Wow.
Man. Phenomenal.
Soft tips.
Exactly. So
I figured that would be like a hard plastic in there. That's nice.
exactly. I was surprised when I saw
Being
the
very
unit too.
kind on the flour.
And we still go through the material afterwards because you really have to be careful with some sticks or stems in there. So you really want to get in there good, go through that material, make sure it's clean because what will happen is you'll start ripping sidewalls of the papers as it's vibrating and going down. That stem will just grab a hold and rip it. So like I said, they're making thousands of these a week. It's not an easy job. It's tedious work. It's just like weighing, tapping, tap.
Can you do box of like 20 grams?
That's something that we haven't done yet. You're looking like a $300 product right there.
Put it in a gold box.
I'll put in whatever they
like
want.
The gold bottles.
Yeah, I'll put it whatever they want. No,
it's almost like the barber shop up in here, the trim room.
Right. You're basically right. It's that barber shop atmosphere.
They're doing something new that they're doing. It's a cannon of a joint with a strip of rosin going down the middle.
Yes, sir.
Call a little snake, wrap a bunch of flour around it so it burns evenly, and this shit's gonna get the job done.
I hope so. It'd be an issue if it is.
It's artwork. Somebody can bang those out consistently, over and over and over. They burn right. I'm sure you don't get any complaints from that.
No.
That looked like it was rolled properly.
Yeah. That will do 99 at a time.
Nice.
Yeah, so that machine will do 99 at a time. Just enough time for them to keep prepping material, keep these two guys busy with weighing them, tapping them down.
You guys get a test frequently? How's that work? Does the dispensary
So
test?
Moving forward, it will be per batch, per 10-pound batch. We've always been heavily testing everything before because A, we want to see where we're at with THC numbers. A, if we pull down day 65, we pull down day 70, where we at? What differences does that make? Or new strains or new products like that have to get tested. So we've done terpene profile testing, we've done the mold and bacteria and metals tests. So now that's going to be the standard moving forward for everybody, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Nice, you got the walk-in cooler.
Oh yeah.
So you got rid of the tent.
Yes. The tent is no longer with us.
This is nice.
You can feel it, right, man? This is like 41 degrees in here. Climate controlled room.
Did you buy the box or did this come with the box?
This unit came with the AC.
Nice.
The cool bar, I think, was also with the unit itself. I think everything was purchased through cool bar. Yeah.
You get a lot of workspace. It's efficient.
It is nice. It is really nice for him. So God forbid there's a blow or something, he's got this train here to make sure that he can maintain everything in the room. So we produce our live rosin in this room. So what we do is we harvest the products, harvest the plants, we then shuck them off the stem immediately, bag that product, put it in a freezer, have it set for a couple days, and then they get washed with water and ice in here to produce bubble hash, and then that bubble hash gets dried in a dry vac oven and then pressed for a rosin.
You ever mess around with Mission Hill and lock them up, put a door against it or something? Hey guys!
I thought about it a few times. For this is hard ice and soft ice. So we have an ice machine here, and so I guess the ice that comes directly from the ice machine is
that
soft.
feels hard.
So you want that ice to be hard, so that way when you're washing with that ice, it's not bleeding as quickly. It's not turning into water fast.
Yeah. So you go from ice machine,
Bag it
into there.
Those washes can be very, very, very difficult. You may have some strains that don't wash well. They may be a great smoke, like our Purple Chem. It's a great smoke, probably one of our better smokes. But for this application, does not do well at all.
Last time I came, you had this was all wrapped up.
Yeah, so last time you came, we had this area blocked off basically. I think FL3 was just about in production, and then we added a whole new veg room so we could run the place more efficiently. It's very difficult for us to have that variety of strains, have that ability to pull like 600 clones at a time with just the amount of veg room we had before. So our key here was to build another veg room, give more space to the moms, pull enough clones, and then keep this place just rocking and rolling.
Nice. Yeah. So every batch of nutrients are getting done by hand.
By hand.
Dispersed to the automated systems that you may use,
Yep.
and then do you guys hand water in veg, or you?
In veg, we hand water.
Yeah.
So the mother room will be hand watered. That room's hand watered. All flower rooms get fed automated.
Yeah. It looks like a pheno hunt.
Yeah. Oh, no, it is.
Number, yeah.
Like 2 ounces on that, right?
Yeah. Awesome, man. We appreciate it. Great bird's eye view. And looking forward to chopping it up with you at the media room. What up, everybody? This is Chris from the CBD Center of RI, bringing you a special episode number 10 with the homeboys from Rhode Island's finest gardens, the OGs in Rhode Island. Been throwing it down for a long time. Had the opportunity this morning to get a little tour of the facility, and now we are graced with the presence of Mr. Anthony Barone from the Rhode Island finest gardens.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me here, man.
Thanks for coming in today. Fun day so far.
Fun day so far. Got to see the facility, do a nice little walkthrough. You got to meet some of the employees.
Facilities
See
looking
some
clean,
plants.
bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's jump right in, man. Before we start diving into the facility and all that, for some folks that know Rhode Island's finest, I'm sure there'll be some folks that watch this that don't know Rhode Island's finest, even though they should. You guys have a collection of owners.
Correct.
A couple different owners.
Yep.
Let's dive in, because I don't think we're going to go through everybody's backgrounds, but let's dive into how you guys kind of came together, the early ons, the beginnings, and we'll just take it from there, man.
Sweet. So basically, there's 5 owners of Rhode Island's finest. There's countless employees that are dedicated to the team and to the facility. It takes a lot of people, to run a facility like that. So we're lucky that we have a lot of company people that are invested with their heart and their time and effort to make sure the brand is A+. So when this all came about with the emergency regulations with moving forward with cultivators because of the program the way it was with caregivers and patients selling access to the...
So prior to that, emergency regulations, regular caregivers, just to set the stage, could grow at their medical...
Correct.
Grow.
Correct.
Package it.
Correct.
Bring it to the dispensary.
Correct.
Dispensary would buy it.
Yes.
Would they buy it on the arm or would they stroke you a check?
No, similar to what it was now, there was language in legislature that said they had X amount of days to pay you on that PO.
Mm-hmm.
So you drop off whatever, you get a PO, and they'd have 60 days, 90 days, whatever it would be to cut you a check.
Was pricing better or same or similar?
Much better.
Yeah,
pricing was much better back then just because of the demand of what they needed. They didn't have, their own facilities weren't where they're at now, so the demand to purchase and procure off of caregivers and patients were much greater.
Yeah.
And then price points were much different.
Yeah.
Even the way they wanted to receive the product, they didn't care if it was, trimmed or wet. They would take care of that on their own. They just wanted to make sure they had enough medicine to supply the market at the time.
Yeah.
So, out of the 5 partners at RI's Finest, all of us are in the program prior to the cultivation license one way or another. So, the group is very dynamic and unique where the 5 of us never really had the intention all together to do this together. But, my cousin Adolfo was the one who basically facilitated the whole thing, with me and then 2 partners. And then once we kind of organized, the entity and we're moving forward with putting the building together and signing the lease, that's when we also brought in someone else and said, this will be a good group, 5 guys. We all go equally on this, and it kind of divides the responsibilities a little bit because everyone's unique and special and has their own little, specialty on what they can do and what they could add, which is great. Because when you're doing something like this, so we spoke about this earlier today, it's nice to have, we all kind of have a construction background, whether it be utility or irrigation or building. I was in building, and Adolfo has he wears all hats. He can do anything, whether it's plumbing, electrical, building, painting, you name it. We can all basically pitch in and do it. So that was nice because when you put a facility like this together, it's nice to have that knowledge of how you can apply a system to cannabis, because it's different. You can go and buy certain things, but then you kind of need to tweak it to work the way you need to work it. So, yeah, we all got together back in 2016. We created the entity, and then we signed our lease in late 2016, and then we just went 120 miles an hour for the next 6 months to get that facility up and running. We were licensed by June of 17.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
As we toured the halls at Rhode Island's Gardens this morning, super cool pics. But something that stands out was at the end of the hall, you had a couple High Time magazines. So prior to you guys kind of, forming Rhode Island's Finest, was Rhode Island's Finest, or like the name?
Exactly. So one of our partners, RI's Finest, that's how he branded himself. He put himself out there. Even when a lot of people told him, hey, listen, man, you're taking a big risk like this, like you're putting yourself out there. You're entering these competitions. Maybe it's not such a good idea. You put a kind of a little spotlight on yourself. But he wanted to prove to himself that all the hard work he put in, where was he, like, just put yourself up against other people and see where you're at. And that's it's tough to do that. It's not easy. You're taking a shot there, and he proved himself that he puts in the work, man. Everyone always asks, like, what is it that you guys do that's this or that's that, and there is no secret sauce. It's not like, you blend it this way, you do it this way. It's just hard work and dedication and consistency. That's it. And you have to be like that. You have to be very stubborn in this industry as that number one guy, because technology changes, things change, and you hear all the noise, and a lot of people want to say, oh, this works, but to be stubborn yet not stubborn is it's a fine line in this industry. You gotta just what works, and you have to. And he's there every day, and he's hustling, and he's working, and it's not easy. It's 365. There's no days off. It's tough. It's tough.
I saw him whipping around the facility this morning.
Yes.
He's definitely making sure all the proper protocols with guests entering the facility. Always awesome to see that. I always like to acknowledge that, because the cleanliness thing is next to godliness thing. Is true and true. And your guys' place is super clean, super duper clean. As we were talking about, even though it's an indoor facility, like, there's ways in for these little bugs to get in places. So all those other proper procedures and what you're doing to keep that facility clean every day, that's what's up. And another big that's what's up, and kudos to Kenny there, is having that vision to enter these competitions and seeing where the market was going to go, or having a feeling of where it was going to go. So big risk, big rewards, fucking big sack, put it on the table. Yeah. And throw everything up and see where it falls. And he fell on the top of the
so in California in 15, he at the I think San Bernardino event, he placed number 1 indigo with the purple chem, and then coming back home, everyone's like, oh yeah, you got number 1, it's a fluke. And it's like, all right, go to Michigan, 2nd place. And then he's got
fucking haters. Got to be doing something right?
Right. So, and he's got a very, I've gotten to know him pretty well over the last few years, and I've gotten to meet his crew of friends and how they all mingle, and they keep themselves, they push each other, which is nice, and and they also do other things with edibles or tinctures or topicals, and they're good friends at Bud Suds. You supply, they supply you with some product at CBD Center here, and they're all similar minded, where it's just like, gotta put out the best product. It doesn't matter. You can look at that number at the end of it. It's like, I save $10. I do that. It doesn't matter. It's like, put out the best product, no matter at what cost. Don't sacrifice what is the right thing to do to save a buck. And that's what separates, I guess, that final product from being A+ or B+ or C+. Sometimes people get wrapped up in the money. No, it's going to cost this.
I tell you what I loved in your facility today is fuck the fertigation systems type approach. I want to be hands-on. I want to mix it.
Yes.
Then I can send my own personal mix of the newts to each room.
Exactly.
I like that a lot, man. That's going over and above, and similar to you guys, you mentioned You hand water all your veg, so you're
All
hands
veg.
on with it.
Yes.
What you're giving it, and when you're making it, so that guarantees no mechanical fuck ups.
Exactly. And I've been to big facilities with HANA systems and dosatron systems, and they're nice. Don't get me wrong. And if you have a simple recipe and it works for you, that's totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
But because of his attachment to what he does, I don't think he could sleep at night knowing that he didn't walk through the room and check every plant in veg room, every plant in the veg room, or even in flower. You know, that's just how he is. And we talked about this in the beginning when we were doing the engineering design plan of the place. And you know, I always wanted his input because, like I said, like he's the one there. I want to make this place for him, and have his input. And that was one of the things that we talked about. And I said, "Are you sure you want it like that? Like it's going to be a lot of." And he's like, "No, I will be here every day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll make sure that each plant gets watered." And that's a lot.
Dedication to the
Yeah.
game right there, and that's quality. That's how quality starts, is being hands on every day with that whole no days off. I mean, like you said, secret sauce is pretty much showing up and giving it your all, leaving
Yeah.
on the field every day.
Yeah.
Then it definitely looks like you guys are executing that plan over there. You got so many cool things to start fucking talking about. I mean, walking through, I'm just thinking about what can we talk about first, second. First, we're gonna pull up Jesse. Let's pull up, the homepage, Rhode Island's Finest. I haven't been on this page in a minute, but you guys have done some updates. Super fucking dope. I like that shot. You always have fire flower, and that shows right there. So those are some of the staples. The Purple Chem, obviously the Hike Time Cannabis Cup winner. Multiple cup winner.
Correct.
Yeah, one was for the haters and the two were for you. You got that banana cream that we talked about. You
Yeah,
said
it's
that's
gas.
that's one that dumps as well.
The berries is a dumper.
The berries is the
Yeah,
dumper.
she likes to get wet. The berries likes to get wet.
So back to that banana cream, Jesse, real quick. That's a banana OG.
With cookies and cream.
Nice.
So
and that's from Exotics, Mike?
That is, I'm pretty sure, an exotic Mike, because the cookies and cream was definitely an exotic Mike. The banana, we do run a lot of his gear. The peanut butter and chocolate, I'm pretty sure, is from his exotic Mike's.
Peanut butter chocolate's a good strand.
Very good, yeah. A lot of good feedback from the PB.
What are you guys into? Like, you guys being growers and growing this stuff. You like the fruity stuff? You like the gas?
I'm different. Kenny's all gas, no brakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm more. I kind of have to stay away a little bit from the heavy indicas. They just put me out. I'm out.
I love that. I want to feel couch locked and sedated.
It just puts me in a whole nother level. I'm a big cake guy. I love that banana. I love the cake. I'm more.
So the cake is the wedding cake, because there's lots of cakes out there.
Yeah. So the wedding cake that we run. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm all day cake. I could smoke morning, night, afternoon. It doesn't matter. I'm big cake guy. I love the flavor.
Beautiful
love the
flower
smoke.
right there.
Yeah, the flower is beautiful. I mean, we have a few snapshots you guys saw in the in the hallways of the canvas photos of the cake, and it's just she's a beauty. She stands out.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Yeah, that picture you had in the hallway of the cake is that's memorable. That's cake right there.
Yeah.
Those pictures right there, were those current shots or beginning shots?
So those were beginning. So that veg room you can see, I think there's cubes, those Grodan cubes. That's the very one of the first harvest that we had getting ready for one of the rooms. It's all Grodan. So you asked me that question earlier. I was like, yeah, we started with a certain type of growing medium, and why did we switch? And getting into it, we wanted to start with the cubes because of how less labor intensive it was with transplanting and how clean they are. And you can basically just transplant from clone to cube to flower room all in one shot. So after about, I think, 6 months to a year of running the cubes, we kind of just didn't like where we were at. I think we all kind of knew we could.
Was it yield, taste, flavor, or was it?
I think it was more taste and flavor than yield. I think the numbers were just about right there. Like I said, it's tough to kind of make sure that the moisture levels are consistent throughout the room with that type of medium. So we did a side-by-side one time with soil and the Grodan cubes, and we kind of just said, you know what, like, what are we doing? Let's go back to what we know. Let's go back to the HP Pro Mix. It's where it's at. Don't get me wrong, we're going to waste a little more time transplanting. It's a little bit more dirtier by, when you transplant, you're going to have dust everywhere, but it's what we know. It's what we got. And that's the advice I give to all growers.
Simple, man.
Yeah, that's it. And I tell that to people always. I say, do
Chasing
what works
techniques.
for you. Yeah, it's
Chase
like
fundamentals.
there's 1,000 ways to do this. 1,000. We talked about lighting fixtures. We talked about growing media. We talked about nutrients. We talked about environment. We talked about room sizes. It's do what works. What you can do consistently.
Are your rooms, flower rooms, all identical size?
So there are 3 flower rooms in the facility. 2 of them are basically identical. One is like 3 less light, so it's like a 6 foot shorter span in the room. So those 2 rooms are basically identical, and then there is an R&D room that we run that's about it's 24 by 28, so it's about 600 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So that room we basically try to utilize for pheno hunting new cultivars and stuff like that. And we talked about it earlier too. It's like you're limited in space, so you want to pheno hunt, right? You want to try new genetics, but you don't want to occupy money making space.
Mm-hmm.
The expenses are so high in that building every month. You got to make sure that you're consistently having product for sale and moving on, but yet you want to we talk breeding. It's like crazy right now. It's like so hard to even keep track of like who's breeding what and where did that come from, and do we try it? So we're trying to do that balance with our stable of genetics.
Yeah, for sure. People don't get the the cost associated, and then when you're running those research and development rooms or ideas or strands, that shit takes like fucking 6 months or so.
Exactly.
You're committed to something, and you don't even know what the fuck the product is going to be, what the strand's going to be. Is it a washer? Is it a one that's going to be super gas and flower? So
yeah, like you said, there's multiple uses to a cultivar. Is it strictly just to grow to wash? Is it strictly just to grow for flower? Is it whatever the use of that plant is? Yeah, you have to, like you said, take the months of work that goes into it, and then decide or figure out what's its use. What is it good to us for? Mm-hmm. And and if you bring one in, do you have the space in your mother room to maintain 2 or 3 other big moms to make clones to keep that in rotation? And if so, are you sacrificing one that's already in your stable to make room for that one? So, we've tried to allocate a little more space to veg and moms, so that way we don't have to make those tough decisions, because we wanna be able to provide a variety of. So the one thing I've learned in being in the industry, and now like on a different level over the last 3-4 years, is more like, I look at it like this, right? The patients and the consumers don't all get the medicinal value from like 5 different medicines, right? So it's like if someone walks into CVS, they have options galore. A dispensary in a retail store needs to have that similar mentality, where 1,000 patients walk in the door, there may be 100 different variations of medication that they need to suffice the 1,000 patients. Mm-hmm. So for us, we talk to patients. It's they have a tough time purchasing the same stuff that works for them. So it's very difficult to satisfy all the patients with their medical needs. It really is. So, our endocannabinoid systems are different. What works for you doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. So, we try really hard to supply a good variety, and also different delivery methods, whether you want to smoke the pre-rolls or you want to use the concentrates, or, we have an agent that works in our building who does tinctures. So we're trying to give as many options as possible. Mm-hmm. So
that's good. Options are great. Yeah. Everybody metabolizes it a little bit differently. Everybody's consumption methods are a little bit different, and that's the beauty of the healing plant, this cannabis plant. Yeah. People have options, unlike other forms of medication where you just pop a pill or whatever. People can really use it how they see fit and how they see it working for them, and that's something that's across the board and in THC land, and as well as in the CBD land. That's something that's great. It's something that's new. A lot of the general public does not know any of this.
We've always pushed for the terpene profile test, because It's important in many different ways. So when I would do these meet and greets at Greenleaf, the one or two things that people were concerned with the most were a price point, because some of these patients, they lived on fixed incomes. It's very hard for them to afford expensive medicines, and they need X amount. So they kind of like space out, like, I'll buy a little bit of this, I'll buy a little bit of that. And that's not good, because their medical needs call for more. And the second thing was, if they had found something that worked well for them, it was very difficult for them to maybe every time they came to the store to find the same medicine. So what I tried to do with them was I tried to explain to them that they really should look at the terpene profile and isolate the terpenes that work well with them, and try to find a replacement medicine that's similar in terpene profile. Because just because I say to you, well, it's wedding cake and then there's beach cake, birthday cake. Well, you may think, oh, it's got to be similar, but maybe not. The terpene profiles may be very different. And the wedding cake may work well with whatever medical conditions you have, but the birthday cake maybe does the adverse effect, and you have a bad experience. And the last thing we want is to have a consumer or patient have a bad experience with smoking or using the medicine, because they're probably going to hold back with, using it to have the benefit.
Yep.
So Greenleaf is doing a phenomenal job right now educating the consumers with, the patients with, educating them with each different terpene, and explain to them like the smell of certain terpenes, the medicinal values of certain terpenes, which is great, because that's really where we should be at now. We should really be educating the patients with this stuff. That way they can have a better idea of like what medicine works well with them.
Yeah, totally. People just looking, THC this, THC that level, total active cannabinoids. It's not about that.
No.
Those terpenes are going to dictate the way that, that we're going to feel. And if people do not know about terpenes, they're like the flavonoids that kind of carry the power of how you're going to feel after you smoke, or even if you, any form of consumption, if you eat it, tincture, that's going to derive to my favorite terp, myrcene. I want to be sedated, couch locked. I want to be like couch locked and, maybe take a nap and not even know I took a nap. Wake up, oh shit, that was good. But that's my favorite terp. And I try to tell people all the time about terps, and it's not about THC content.
You're right.
THC
People walk
content's
in,
great,
like,
but
best bang for their buck, highest potency, lowest price.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a waste, even though you got the highest potency with the lowest price. It could be a waste of money, because you're not going to use.
Could be mids.
It could be mids, yeah. I'll tell you, I'm more of a mid-range guy. I like it anywhere from 18 to 22. That works well with me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like the heavy, like I said. I don't like the heavy indicas. I don't get that, effect that I'm desiring for with that.
Yeah, I think everybody, me, you, probably everybody in your group, everybody smokes strong weed. Yeah. But what tastes the best? It's like beer. Who gives a shit if the beer's like 15%? They give you a little cup. If it tastes like shit, I'm not going to drink that. No. So, yeah, big ups to you guys for focusing on terps, as well as Greenleaf for the education on 100%. The terpene profile. Yeah. I have not seen many, if at all, any dispensaries talk about that, even in my travels across the board.
Right? Isn't it sad, man? Isn't it sad?
The market, that just goes to show where the market at right now is still kind of in its infancy and hasn't matured enough to I get a kick out of wine tastings. Like I go to wine tastings. I don't know what the hell people are looking for. They swirl the glass. Let's go legs. I see people do it like Listerine in their mouth. I'm like, Jesus, you just had like 5 lamb chops. You switch that wine around. Does it taste like lamb? Does it taste like wine? But I guess the same thing could be said in the cannabis market, where people aren't as advanced, or haven't been around the right people, or gotten the right education, because knowledge is power when it comes to this, and being able to utilize the medicine individually, because everybody, like you said, the endocannabinoid system is different. So that's important. And it's great to see that a dispensary is giving that education. Yeah. We get a lot of feedback from folks here, and that's kind of like our biggest thing would be to educate them on what CBD does, how it plays a role, what's the endocannabinoid system. And, if folks come here after going to a dispensary and they don't know what an endocannabinoid system is, and they're looking for CBD, then that dispensary has not done their job properly.
Exactly. That's why big ups to Greenleaf and their bud tenders who
from my own personal experience with them, they go above and beyond. I mean, I've seen people wait in line an extra 10 minutes to deal with a certain bud tender. I've never seen that in any of my travels, like you said, across the country, where people know their bud tender by name, can trust them that they're going to lead them in the right direction and get the medicine and go on with their day.
You're going to notice that bud tender's tip jar is probably full. That's how you know who the good bud tenders are. Yeah, they're giving great information.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
just as you would tip your local bartender, that story right there is reminiscent to me of the show Cheers, like place where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
The bud tender, the patient coming in. That's great feedback. I like that. I haven't been down to Greenleaf as much as I would like to, especially with the feedback I've been getting from patients. This feedback from you today, I'm gonna take that feedback, and I want to go down there. I want to get the Greenleaf experience. It sounds
and they do a great job of procuring product off all the great cultivators in the state. And I always tell this to legislators when we talk about missing out, I guess, on the opportunity in front of us with this whole adult use or expansion of the medical program. And it's always like, I always tell them, like, do you guys understand how lucky you are? You have like an abundance of cultivators in the state who do a good job. They all do a great job. You see all these companies out there doing a phenomenal, providing great medicine, clean, doing a good job. And you're not going to have that in the future, because if the program doesn't move forward, a lot of people may seize opportunities in other states. And then what do you do there? You're losing that infrastructure. You need to build the program stronger. So,
Rhode Island's kind of behind the 8 ball.
Last one's in and first one's out always.
We have a very kind of mature medical market. What was it 2008 or so? It got
6 or 8, yeah, something around there. Yeah.
It's been here in Rhode Island. It's actually probably been put up for recreational. I can remember going.
Oh my God, countless times.
back.
Bills, whether it's on the budget or it's in a bill or it's been proposed, it's been years and years and years.
Let's talk bills and proposals. You brought up the whole legislation. Let's talk politics. Let's talk cannabis and politics. I'm down on the State House, and I try to go to as many hearings that apply that are applicable.
Yep.
But one constant I always see is Anthony Barone. You're at just about every single hearing.
No.
I don't think you've probably missed a hearing in I don't know how many years.
No, it's been a while. It's been a while because the industry, whether it's the patients or the cultivators or it's the ancillary businesses or it's the CBD stores were, being thrown around with legislation. You need to have a voice up there. It's there's so much happening at the State House that I don't blame the legislators at all. I think they do a phenomenal job. It's a part-time job for them, and there's so many things happening, whether it's the budget articles or it's bills. Even for me, for someone who's like dedicated to just one specific industry, I have a tough time following like bill hearings and article numbers are changing. Where is it in the budget? What's been amended? It's very difficult for them to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So the great thing that as someone who has some time to dedicate to the State House is that you meet with legislators, you talk to legislators. Most of them, a lot of them are self-employed. They own small businesses. They're school teachers. They can relate really easily with someone like me who's a business owner, a family man. So
A Rhode Islander.
So you can have that dialogue where you're like, hey, listen, man, this is how this is going to affect me. It may look a certain way on paper, but I don't think you understand the impact, and I don't think they understand the infrastructure and the setup of what's been going on over the last couple of years. They hear terms of cultivator and they hear terms of compassion center, but a lot of them really didn't know what that was. So my partner Dominic did a really good job of inviting a lot of these legislators to the facility. And the one constant was like, they walk in, they're like, oh my God, like, where am I? They thought they were going to like a basement. Someone's growing at their house.
Mm-hmm.
Or in a small little commercial facility. And when they came in, they're like, oh, so this is what you do. And we explained to them, yes, this is the facility. This is what it takes. These are the amount of employees. This is my payroll tax. This is my this is my burden, my every month bills and rent we pay and taxes we provide and jobs we provide. And these are the people that are going to be affected by this legislation. So we've had a little bit of success over the last like 2 years educating, which is key because that's the main goal. It's to go there and educate them, and then when bills do get heard at committee meetings, to be there and voice your opposition or support of certain bills. And we're at the road now where we're building infrastructure for the medical market, which has been the top priority of us for a long time. It's accessibility, right? Like, there's so many patients that have so many needs, and we just want to see everybody have an opportunity or the means of getting what they need a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
So,
speak about getting easier, handing out these licenses that are going to come out now.
oh yeah,
That's probably been on the grind for many
Yeah.
folks for many years.
Yep.
And I guess there's 6 new
correct.
compassion centers.
Correct.
Applications have to be in December 15th.
The 15th, something like that.
Something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the 15th, but it's something like that.
So they go in.
So
It's going to be a lottery of sorts.
correct. So you have to submit by December 15th, 21st, whatever it is. The Department of Business Regulation will go through all those applications, and it's like a pre-qualification process to get into the lottery. And the lottery is basically 6 zones, geographical zones. Your entity can apply for multiple zones, and then I guess they will be using like the numbers game, ping pong ball, something.
Are they going to have it on like fucking 11 o'clock news? Or
I think it will.
I'd like to be live.
It's going to be, from what I heard, it's going to be televised. State police will be
televised,
there.
yes.
It's
almost like the NBA lottery. Some
Yeah.
people are going to have a lot of balls in that basket,
Yeah.
but it's anybody's shot.
anybody shot.
And, some people probably have more of a shot now that it's gone to a lottery system, even though it's the Rhode Island lottery system. Always get a kick out
Tonight's
of that
numbers
one, man.
are-
Yeah. And what's Rhode Island? They usually draw 4 numbers, so they're gonna have to draw an extra
6,
2.
yeah.
That's gonna be fucking insane.
The tension in that room is going to be one for the ages.
Imagine being the first one. You get your number pulled. You just fucking
The
stop.
look on
going nuts.
everybody's face. It's like,
Yes.
right? It's gonna be epic. That's
And-
gonna be an epic night.
The next one would be the last person that gets a name pulled. Holy shit! That guy's gonna go fucking. Everybody's gonna go bananas
Yeah.
if you get your name drawn.
Yeah.
But man, the excitement level in that room is gonna be through the roof.
Yeah, yeah.
Then once you get picked,
Yeah.
you gotta go through the process,
Yeah.
and then you gotta pay fucking $500,000 annual fee, right?
It's like $1 million.
So you gotta make like $1 million to
Yeah.
taxable.
It's a non-profit 280E
Mhm.
tax form, so there's no deduction. So you have to literally make $1 million, not sell $1 million. You sell $1 million, that's a lot of it's going to labor, but you need to make $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
and then that can afford you your $500,000 license fee every year. It's extremely high.
Currently, what's the market at? Like 60 million? Is it 70 million? Where are we at?
So
in
from
Rhode
the
Island?
figures that were published, we're at $60 million a year. So that grew roughly $4 million from last year, and the year before it grew approximately like $18 million. There was a big surge from fiscal year ending 19 to fiscal year ending 18 to 19 because of the reciprocity laws that were set in place, and out-of-state cardholders were now allowed to come in. And also, you can say that was a big factor in it, but I think a huge factor in it was the cultivators. Like I said, there's so many good companies that are offering so many varieties of medicine. If you can gain the confidence of the patients, right? For so long, the patients were like, man, I got to pay that to get that. I can do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But we as a group, as cultivators, and even the compassioners, they stepped their game up too. I'll give props to them. I mean, they definitely stepped their game up with their own grows. They learned trial and error, and they figured out a way to produce better medicine. And so the confidence of the patient was there, and they're willing to spend the money to buy good stuff. And that's where the market was. we were at roughly like 38 million, then 56 million, then this year 60 million. Yeah.
Wow.
Which
You think rec will bring a big
10
bump?
times, 10 times,
10x?
10x. We've done the numbers over and over again.
So
Every state,
600 million?
yeah, 600 million.
Really?
And we you know, so, you know, talking a little bit about the adult use, you look at, I've studied all the markets across the country, and the main factor in determining whether or not you hit projected revenues is the competitive tax rate, without a doubt, because that extra tax on top of the medicine sale price, and if there is an excess tax to the city or town, however they want to structure it, is the determining factor into like making sure you say you're going to make 100 million in tax revenue, you're going to make 100 million. So, you know, you look at California, you look at Colorado, and Colorado is 5 times smaller. The tax rate is half of that of California. So they're at 20%, California's at 40. Yet they go above and beyond their projected tax revenues every year. They say they're going to make 350 million, they do 500. You look at California, they say they're going to do 500, they do 350.
Mm-hmm.
That puts an extreme amount of stress on the budget. Because in Rhode Island, because there's no single line item veto, there really is no adjustment too much with each individual line item, right? So like if they throw the budget together, say, all right, we need 990 million, whatever it is. If there's a deficit in that, in Rhode Island, it's tough because there's no making up in other areas.
Which there's huge deficits right now.
There are huge deficits with the pandemic going on, and just with other tax revenues that
Gambling went down the tubes.
Gambling was supposed to take in 30 million. They haven't even.
Hotels, bars.
Everybody. The Twin River Casino is a huge contributor to the state budget every year. They're not doing anything really right now, so there's huge budget gaps that need to be addressed. This year's budget included a $20 million line item with the adult use program the governor proposed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people get confused because just because the governor proposes it doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be structured. So every year the governor will propose her budget with all the different budget article numbers, carry certain line items, like money amounts for each one of those. And then the House and the Senate get to amend it their way, and then the House gets to have the final say in what gets carried on for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with this year is because that's such a big number, that 20 million, it's going to be very difficult for them to find that $20 million elsewhere unless they make some major cuts. And unfortunately in the state, you know, the things they take money from to close those gaps are the last things you want to take money from, right? So, you know, the $20 million budget article with this adult use, it's going to be very difficult for them to exit out. I feel like there's obviously going to be an amendment for it some sort of way. How it's going to look, we don't know. Senator Miller,
He's the one that's put it in a bunch of times.
I like his structure sort of because there are monies allocated towards education and prevention. So when you talk to legislators, like, oh, adult use, what do you think? And a lot of them, the main two things is federal licensing, which is like CDLs and workman's comp, and then prevention of youths with getting access to the stuff. So if you want to address those issues, then you need to allocate money for those. So, you know, allocate money for, and we could do that maybe other ways with grants. But wouldn't it be, you know, awesome if we could address that all with the budget article and say, okay, out of 20%, and I think this is what Senator Miller tried to do. He said, well, if it's a 20% rate, we'll take 15 will go directly to the state, 5% will go towards schools, prevention, education, and so forth. So that's the structure I think would make everybody happy, and then we could start there and then move on with, you know, the details of what it would look like. You know, there's a bunch of different ways we could do it. Like I said, the main things that I think the state needs to focus on is the competitive tax rate, and I mentioned to you before. So if you look at Governor Cuomo in New York, very smart idea was. He called in all the surrounding states, and he said, I think what we need to do is if we're all going to do this, right, everyone's like Connecticut's talking about it, New Jersey's been talking about it, they delayed it, they had it, they delayed it. New York is starting to really come around.
Close before COVID, they were getting close.
They were getting close. So I think he had the right idea. I was like, let me call in all these governors and these agency directors who handle the cannabis stuff from all these surrounding states. They called Rhode Island, they called Connecticut. And I think he had the right idea. I was like, let's all be on the same level playing field, right? If we're going to charge a tax, let's all be the same. That way, you're not seeing an abundance of residents come in from other states to buy in your state because they're going to save a few bucks. So I think that's the right approach to this. It's like, let's all get on the same level playing field. Because hopefully, soon enough, this will go. The federal level will do something about it, and then we're all okay. But if we're all at the same tax rate, then I think it'll be better for the East Coast as a whole. So I like what he did.
Yeah, that's good. That's a positive movement.
Yeah.
And totally makes sense, like you said. You don't want some places where it's like a fire sale and
Yeah, look at all the residents that go to New Hampshire for tax-free alcohol.
Yep.
Or now Massachusetts residents going there for menthol cigarettes and all this stuff, and you're missing out on that tax revenue. And the state desperately needs it, however they can get it.
Yeah, and the one thing that is for sure, the positives that come out of the healing plant, although its history of being illegal, it is now essential.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's going to be essential to the budget and
Yeah.
pulling certain economies that don't have major, corporate foundations in their states, kind of like Rhode Island. We don't have that much businesses. We have
You're
a lot
right.
of small business, self-employed. It's gonna fill the gap, and hopefully there's not too much more bickering back and forth, and maybe there's no time for them to do that, but they're going to issue 6 more. After they issue those 6, you think they're going to start issuing rec stores, or you think they're going to keep the recreational within those 9 people? Let's call it today. We'll look back in this, a year from now and see what happens.
I would have to guess that it would probably go to the existing 9 license holders who are pre-vetted right off the rip just to get them up and running the quickest. Is that truly a free market? No. Free market is put one up. If you survive, you survive. If you can't, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Get the license, go through the process, be vetted. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to see just, anybody be able to have the ability to sell the medicine to anybody without being qualified to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like the education, having the bud tenders, the last thing we want is a patient consumer to go into a store, have a bad experience, and then be like,
Yeah, you don't want like a quickie mart.
exactly. So, if I had to guess, it probably would go to the existing 9 to get up and running. Just like this process, I think they want to license. If it was like a point merit based system, they probably would want to give it to the companies or entities that would be able to get them up and running the quickest, with the financial support behind them, with the location being good. So I think they would probably take that same approach with the.
Are they going to use that method, do you think, the merit-based, prior to people putting in applications, like
I
the
would-
pre-approval part?
I would hope so. Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is a failure with one of these, right? You don't want to issue the approval to a company or an entity, and then they're not able to fulfill it, and then what do you do? Do you have another lottery for that one zone, and people have moved on to other business opportunities, and maybe dynamics of groups change, and once you don't get a license, maybe that that they dissolve that entity and they move on to do something else, or whatever it may be, and maybe you unfortunately, the more qualified, better group doesn't win the lottery, and they move on, and then you don't have them again to fulfill that opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, there should be some kind of merit and pre-approval system,
100%,
just to
yeah.
prevent that from happening, and over applications going into that mix of Rhode Island lottery basket that they're going to spin out. I can't wait for that. Enough politics. That's going to make my head fucking pop. I'm sure you probably feel that too, man.
Yeah.
Today we got some fire over here. Some fire, then I'm going to get into this fire, since I am a medical patient. And these are medical flowers. Jesse, why don't you get a little close-up of this hot fire? Hurry up. My finger's burning.
That peanut butter and chocolate.
Oof. can smell it, baby.
Oh no, that was the Trunk Funk.
I think this is Trunk.
That was Trunk Funk. Sorry, I got peanut butter and chocolate on my mind, man.
Man, this kind of checks like every box here. It's got that funky fall smell.
Yeah.
It's finished perfectly. It's got some color to it. Trim job. Big up to your trimmers and your professional trim crew killing it today as well.
Like I said, we don't like to rush any of them. Just do it. Just make then.
What are the terpenes in that?
Terpenes
actually,
in this?
I don't remember the profile test we did on that.
I bet you it's going to couch lock.
Yeah, I bet you there's mercy. Yeah.
Lean in indica strand.
Yes. Yep. The donut. Here comes the big old doink.
So who's your favorite? Not to say favorite, but I guess we talked about it. Greenleaf with education.
Yeah, 100%.
I've been getting a lot of feedback that got to go to Greenleaf, got to check it out.
Yeah.
You guys are doing your monthly drops there? Correct.
We do the VIP drops through them. I'll tell you the truth why I have a lot of respect for Greenleaf is we've done a lot of charitable stuff throughout the years. We've always tried to help out with Leukemia Lymphoma Society, with Hasbro Children's Hospital, with the Tomorrow Fund.
We teamed up with the Gloria Gemma breast cancer.
Yes, the Bras for a Cause. And anytime we've ever asked them to do something to that would help us with the charity stuff, they've always gone above and beyond. And it means a lot to me. It means a lot to the group. I mean, we bought a gaming system for the kids at the Hasbro Hospital with the Tomorrow Fund. That that right there alone was better than that, to give those kids something to take their mind off what they're doing. And the Leukemia Lymphoma Society hits close to home. A lot of people that I know that have gone through blood cancer and stuff like that, and just to help out with them, because they do a phenomenal job raising money every year for the association. I had the pleasure of going to the dinner last year and to hear the stories and to hear people what they're going through. It's like, what can I do to help? Just tell me.
Anthony, very, very humble guy, talking about these, causes that you guys give to because you think it's the right thing to do, and it feels even better afterwards. I can only imagine.
Yeah, just to meet the people, just to go there and see the people, what they're going through. They made it out on top, or they've lost loved ones, and that's the Gloria Gemma's an example of. Unfortunately, she didn't, make it through, but her legacy lives on, and her family, with the support of so many other people doing what they do, raising that kind of money, is just unbelievable. And they help the families of those who are going through it now, which is great. You see the direct impact of where the money is going.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? At the same time, as a byproduct of that, the byproduct is that you're breaking down stigmas for fucking potheads. You're a fucking pothead. You hear people all the time, fucking pothead. Well, you know what? Potheads are actually, pretty smart people. Yeah. They're educated. Some of them run very difficult businesses, thinner margins. Some are bigger than others, and locally, regionally, wherever you're at. But big ups to all the cannabis professionals in our states and all the other states that are, medicinally, first and foremost, making a difference, because that's kind of where this whole thing stems from. People coming up through the medical game, like, states just don't come out and say, hey, we're rec now, and go rec first. So it's a medical thing. I think it's fucking awesome that you guys take every opportunity to back certain causes. I got a feeling that there's a lot of cultivators out there that don't back anything but themselves, which, it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a selfish thing. Yeah. But first and foremost, I gotta say, you guys do a fucking awesome job backing the local causes, and that even with the Bras for a Cause, man.
We had so much fun that night.
You guys brought a fat check. What the donation was? I was like 10 grand. It was a lot, bro.
Yeah, no, it was.
More than 10? Was it 10? Was it more?
I think it was a little bit more than 10.
That's a phenomenal feat in the contribution. They matched it, right? Did they match?
They threw a nice chunk in there.
Good.
They definitely threw a nice chunk in there. We did like it was like a fundraising
pre-roll thing, right?
Exactly. It was a fundraising effort. X amount of the pre-rolls went to directly. The sales went directly there, and then I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe when Adolfo told me what the actual amount was. I was like, wow. I was like, it's great, and we had a lot of fun that night. I mean, to see the guys go.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun. We got Matt CBD, Mr. CBD. You see a car right around that says Mr. CBD on the plate.
You know
That's
what it
Matt. Too bad I don't know if we can pull Matt's picture up or not. Maybe by the time we edit this thing. But man, Matt has a lot of fun. He's been supporting Gloria
Matt's good
Gemma
people, man.
for a long time.
You're like me. You're very lucky that you have a friend, a partner, someone who's committed, dedicated. I mean, he works his ass off.
Yeah, and diversify. So you're diversifying strengths. You're not all good at the same thing. And
Exactly.
if you are, then you don't need certain people.
Agreed, 100%.
Mhm.
Agreed. You're right. You need that. You need that versatility of what partners can do, what they can contribute.
Yep.
That's key in business. Partnership.
There he is. Woo! Matt has a lot of fun with this. This
Yes,
is
he does.
Bras for a Cause. The theme, Bras for a Cause. They have certain gentlemen that participate in this. Matt's been in it for like 8 or 9 years. And they strut their stuff down the stage. Everybody has their own table. Matt does a great job. He gets so fired up.
And those bras are all customized for the event, and they get sold off to the crowd. There's a big auction that goes off, and I mean, there were a couple of guys up there that raised some big money. I mean,
Yeah.
big money.
And these nonprofit organizations like them, they need that to keep the wheels going. But yeah, we're definitely looking. That's a funny one too. I mean, every year Matt's on stage killing it. He's behind stage getting the party started as
Yep,
well. Does a
yep.
great job of that.
I got to view that this year.
You could smell the trunk funk probably. No, but that's awesome. Big ups to you guys, Rhode Island's finest, Matt for letting me know, and then we kind of joined up with that. But he spearheaded that Gloria Gemma, and I couldn't be happier that we participated, and actually couldn't even be happier, and also proud as you as a friend to come in and partake in it. And you guys,
thank you for letting
that
us.
check,
Yeah.
man. That's
Thank you.
friggin' awesome. So the future, where are we gonna see Rhode Island's finest in the future? We want to solidify Rhode Island. You gonna stay in Rhode Island?
I want to stay here.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, I'm first generation American. I was born in this state. I never want to leave. I've had opportunities to go other places and do other things, but this place just grabs you and doesn't want to let go, and I don't want it to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can't let too many people know how good Rhode Island is out of those California people.
we got
All those
beaches.
Connecticut people, and New York
So,
people buying up all our real estate and
right?
the beaches.
Oh, it's crazy right now. It's crazy right now. But yeah, I mean, I love it here. I want to just keep doing what we're doing. The brand is doing well.
You did a little breeding project.
Yeah, we've done a little breeding stuff.
That's gonna be cool. People are gonna be on the lookout
there's
for
some
that.
stuff in the works to get ready. Some flavors coming down that they're going to be excited for. We're kind of taking what we have and kind of just
Mm-hmm.
hitting it with a little extra something. And the team works great there. So I'm excited about what the future holds for us, man. It's like we've come this far. It's been a hell of a journey for 4 years. And
Just completed your build out.
the expansion, we expanded. We did another bedroom. So
Mhm.
that's making the building more efficient. So
Any more build outs after that, or?
There's a little bit of space left with the license. We're capped at a certain amount of square footage. We're
Okay.
basically like utilizing like 80%.
Mhm.
I think we kind of want to see where this next step goes before we kind of just
Use every inch.
and the resources that go into doing it. We want to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a position where we're kind of strapped. You don't want to be in that.
You've already fought through that.
Yeah,
fight.
exactly. Yeah, we don't want to go back there.
Mhm.
So let's kind of see where the next step goes. And yeah, we just want to keep doing what we're doing. I think if you talk to everybody who works in the facility, they love what they do, and I want to make sure that we're able to provide a place like that in the future. And yeah, man, I just want to. I mean, like I said, I've working at the State House, consulting, doing some engineering stuff, and just I love the industry. I'm so happy I'm where I'm at now. I was in a family business, and it was a grind, and it was a super grind, and this is also a grind in its own, but I get a lot of satisfaction when I meet patients and I talk to people and help them out. I couldn't really do that in construction. That was more like a self-satisfaction, and where this is more of like you said, it's the healing plan, man. It's like we're lucky we're in an industry.
Lucky to be alive during this time of prohibition.
Yeah,
we missed the first go around at it.
You're right, and like you talk to people within the industry from whatever angle they contribute to the industry, and you know how it is. You can pick up the phone and call somebody up and chop it up, and if you need something, they're there for you. If they need something from you, you're there for them. And it's not many industries where it's so competitive yet. There's a lot of love in it. Don't get me wrong. It's dog eat dog, and it's people crushing each other here and there, but it's a different kind of thing. Like you have that respect when you meet someone else. You're like, yeah, man, he went through the same thing I went through. He knows how I felt. He went through the same struggle, and now we're both on top.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, everybody's in a different lane, fighting the same fight, and hoping to be there. Still operational. I know that was the goal from a lot of folks when be operational when this thing goes recreational and can almost smell recreational in the air right
it's
now.
There.
It's going to be there after this show, I can tell you that. Yeah, man. Well, I want to thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me, man. I mean, like I'm sitting in a chair with Chef David was sitting in this chair, and Erica and Spencer, and I mean, you're doing your thing, man. I appreciate it. I love you.
Yep.
And I've known you for so long, and you've always been one of the realest. Can I swear on this?
Go for it. Fucking let it fly, baby.
You've been one of the realest motherfuckers in this game for a long time.
That's what's up, man.
And I've known you for a long. Like I said, you've always been honest, real, true. Like it's hard. Those are hard to find. I got much respect for you and your family and everybody. And thank you for having me on here, bro.
And likewise, we share a lot of the similar attributes. I think me and you, we run by a code of honor, and we're not gonna fuck our honor, our code, our handshake.
No.
What we do for fucking break that for nothing. So, I respect you guys. We're all on the fucking ground floor looking up, and it's everybody clawing day by day just to move the needle just a little bit.
No.
And it's awesome. You guys are in it. You're spearheaded. Rhode Island, you've been there from the beginning. You guys put out fire. And it's awesome. I can't wait to sit back shortly after December 15th, see if you guys get a license on that.
Thanks, man.
If you do, I want to come to the party. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Going to be a real good one. Probably make MJ BizCon look like
my God,
minor league play to what's going to happen.
It might be in Costa Rica. We might have to do it outside the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get a plane. Yes. Has a seat on there for me.
Got a guy for that.
That's what's up, man. Thanks again. We're going to be wrapping episode 10, but before we do, I want to give a big shout out to Felicia's.
No, definitely delicious.
I don't know if you get down this way that much. Before I moved in here, I didn't know much about Felicia's, but this place has become one of my most, if not my most favorite coffee shop in Rhode Island. I didn't tell you, I put one of our 25 milligram CBDs in there too, which you can find at Felicia's.
Sweet.
We're going to wrap episode 10 of JASA Talks. I am Chris from the CBD Center of Rhode Island. This is Anthony Barone of Rhode Island's finest gardens. Throwing it down. We're going to the green room. Maybe munchies, maybe snack, maybe not. It's going to be a secret. Till next time, everybody have a blessed day out there. Thanks again, Rhode Island's finest, Anthony.
Thank you,
and
brother.
all your partners for making this happen and thinking it was worthwhile your time. Thanks a lot, brother.
Thanks, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, green room.